Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. Once again, I'm Tim Durling, and once again, I thank you for tuning in. This one is about my Foreigner CD collection. First thing you'll notice is that this is not a normal setting for me. This is from lovely Surrey, PEI, where Sarah and I are currently on vacation. I don't know when you'll be seeing this one, but thought I'd film from some different spots. So my Foreigner CD collection, there's nothing particularly rare about any of the Foreigner CDs, but some of the versions of them I have are kind of old, so I don't know. Anybody out there knows more about the CD pressings than I do could say, oh yeah, that's an original, or something like that. There is an interesting numbering system with Foreigner that I've not noticed with any other band, and I'll talk about that. So I'll get started with the classic first album from Foreigner from 1977. Right away you can see this is an early CD issue because it's got the Warner Group picture. That's right on the CD. That's on the sleeve itself. That's not a sticker. So this, like I said, originally came out in 1977, sorry. This is a Canadian edition on Atlantic. And as is the case with early CD reissues, it doesn't even have the original copyright date. It says 1984. So this is pretty old, at least the pressing of, the booklet and the back cover. The CD itself is not original because it would be one of those Target ones with what looks like a gun sight, and I'm kind of obsessed with finding one of those at least. But anyway, this was a huge album. They came out right out of the gates with a big album, 2-3 million sold. Big hit singles, Feels Like the First Time, Cold as Ice. Actually, this whole album it's one of their best from start to finish. They're a great singles band, but not all their albums are good start to finish. This one is excellent. It at least completes the whole gatefold on the CD. There's nothing much in here. It doesn't have the lyrics reprinted. But there is one thing I want you to notice. I don't know if it's something that Mick Jones wanted Atlantic Records to do, but note the serial number here. So it's a 19109, ends in 9. This is not the original serial number for this album. It was one of the earliest examples I've seen of an album that was reissued almost immediately. Even my 8-track, the version I have of this, has that number on it. Ends in 9. Next up, 1978, second Foreigner album, another big one, Double Vision. Now this was released on various record covers, variations on the front cover. When the original CDs came out, said, nope, it's one thing. So here you go. This is another Canadian edition on Atlantic. CD 19999. Another big one, of course, Hot Blooded. Double Vision comes off this one. That's a more typical looking Atlantic CD with the red ring around the edge there. And let's see what's inside this thing. Looks like a lot, isn't really, just the credits. Incidentally, because they have the whole Double Vision thing going on, I think I mentioned this in the vinyl episode, John Kolodner, the famous A&R guy, John David Kolodner, his name got mentioned twice here, which is why Forever and a Day, whatever albums he's mentioned in, it's always twice. That started with this. So again, another serial number ends at 9. 1979, third Foreigner album, Head Games. This is another Canadian issue. And like the first one, it's got that Warner symbol on it. 29999. This one's a little bit different because it reprints the back cover. I've seen some old CDs that do this. Polygram CDs do this too. This may well have been printed up by Polygram because initially they did ones for every record company. Didn't matter. That's the picture that's on the back cover. A lot of these have been remastered and have the lyrics and everything. These are just the ones that I picked up when I was initially filling out the collection. Credits, in songwriting credits, there are no lyrics. Okay, not the first big Foreigner album. They were always pretty big, but I think the most successful studio album they did came out in 81. Of course, it's Foreigner 4, the one album they had produced by Mutt Lange. This one ends 16999. They're all ending in 9s. And I don't know if that's I don't know why that is. I don't know if it would put them at the top of something. I really don't know. There's got to be a reason behind it because no other band has done this. This is another Canadian reissue. This is a pretty good album too, obviously. It had 4 big hit singles off it, and the whole album is really good. A little bit of customization on the CD itself, the way that the band name is written. Oh yeah, I guess there is a 4 after that. And this one actually has everything, pretty much. So it's got the credits there, band photo, and it does have all the lyrics, which is the first time in one of these original CDs that the lyrics were reprinted. 1982, the first of many best ofs came out. I love the concept behind this one. It's simple, but it's really cool. It's Foreigner Records. Looks like a jukebox. The original record, if you saw my vinyl episode, it's die cut, so you can pull it out, put it back in. The songs are in a different order. 80999 is the serial number this time around. This is a Canadian edition. Just a good, concise 10-song collection. You can't go wrong with any of them. Extended live version of Hot Blooded is the only song on here that's not a studio track. There's your credits. That was the gatefold photo. There you go. All right, next up is the first non-Canadian CD. I picked this one up used. It's actually a U.S. Columbia House edition from 1984, Agent Provocateur. This is 81999. See, the numbering, some of these almost goes along with where a regular Atlantic release would be, but they have to end in 9. This continues, well, all right, we'll get more of that. There you go, nothing fancy on the back there. Same Atlantic CD appearance to it. And this one has the credits and all of the lyrics. There's no pictures in this, but there were no pictures in the record either, I don't believe. Next one that came out was in 1987, Inside Information. Now this is a U.S. Columbia House CD as well. This one breaks the pattern. The serial number is 81808. That was just a standard Atlantic serial number. Not sure why. I remember being surprised when I found this on record that it was actually gatefold, because 1987 was, they typically weren't doing gatefolds by then. Band photo. This was the last album that this lineup did. Lou Gramm, of course, on and off solo career. So in 1991, the next Foreigner album came out with a singer named Johnny Edwards. It was the only one he did with them, and it was not successful. It ended up in the cut-up bins within months of it coming out. It's not a bad album. Unusual Heat from 1991, still on Atlantic Records. And now we're back to 82299, so we're back to ending in 9. See the hole there? This was a punch-out. I just put it in a new case. This is a Canadian retail edition. For the first time, a customized CD. That was the band as of 1991. And all the credits and lyrics in this one. So Lou Gramm very quickly came back, at least for a while, and they Atlantic put out an updated best of called The Very Best and Beyond. Now, this is a good, single CD collection for her. I've always hated this album cover. I thought it was just random and pointless, and I don't understand. They just kind of threw it together. A band photo would have been better, or just about anything. This is a Canadian Columbia House edition, as you'll see. 89999, back to the 9s. I think that's the last time it does that, but that's quite a run. And this one it doesn't really pick up where records left off. It's more, it just brings it up to date with stuff from Agent Provocateur and Inside Information. 3 new songs, all of which are quite good. That's an original band photo there, of course. They were slightly different lineup by then. Good write-up about the band from Vic Gabarini. Garbarini, famous rock writer, and lyrics to the new songs. And that was the band as it was in 1992, at least for that point in time. Of course, you know, at this point, it's mostly a lot of compilations are coming out. In 1993, Atlantic put this album out, simply called Classic Hits Live. These are live performances from various concerts over the years for them. It's quite good. This is a US edition on Atlantic. And this was kind of the brainchild of Bud Prager, their manager. Interesting write-up about how the band formed, how they got signed, how they were rejected by all of the major record labels, and stories about each song and where they came from. So they're anywhere from 1979 all the way up to 1985 is where these performances come from. Next Foreigner studio album actually was the first one not to be on a major label. It came out in the States on a label called Rhythm Safari. In Canada, Attic Records, famous independent label, got the distribution rights, which is why it was pretty readily available in Canada. And it's not a bad album. I mean, 1995 was not the year for melodic classic rock bands, but they put out Mr. Moonlight anyway. And that was the band as it was in 95. Like I said, this is not a bad album, the Canadian edition, of course. And the ballad on here, Until the End of Time, great tune. Almost hit the top 40 in the States. I think it peaked at number 42, which is not a bad showing considering the time period. Like the CD itself, some customization gone on there. And all the lyrics and credits. And this was the last Foreigner studio album for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, 14 years. A lot of compilations came out in that time. Lou Gramm left again and was replaced by Kelly Hansen. In 2009, this album came out called Can't Slow Down on Atlantic Rhino Records. And at this time, they did what Journey had done with the Revelation album, where they put this album out where it had one new studio album on it, and then a disc of classic songs, and then a live disc. So it was something for the casual fan to pick them and go, oh, I know that song, I know that song, I know that song. Did okay for them. They had a couple of songs that were pretty good on the adult contemporary chart that did all right, In Pieces, and When It Comes to Love. Kelly Hansen does a great job on the vocals. He doesn't sound exactly like Lou Gramm, but he's in that right ballpark. And I can tell you from seeing him in concert, he delivers. So that was the lineup in 2009 when this came out. So Mick Jones, the sole original member, carrying on the torch. So there's the 3 CDs in there. And the next thing I've got came out in 2017, Foreigner 40. And I got this on vinyl and CD. The CD's got, I think, a few more songs on it, but the track listings are slightly different. There's some new stuff on here, some live stuff. This is the definitive Foreigner collection. This is the one to get. My opinion, this is the one to get. Kind of leaves no stone unturned, and it brings it right up to the present. I bought this in Canada. I bought it at Sunrise, but it's a US CD. And of course, there's a lengthy write-up in here too. Good collection, very good collection. Next couple things I want to show you. Sarah and I had the pleasure of seeing Foreigner in concert in 2018 in Bangor, along with Whitesnake and the Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin evening. That was a great show, and I went into that in depth in an episode earlier. But something that had come out around that time and that they were selling at the concert was the CD-DVD package, Foreigner with the 21st Century Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. So CD and DVD of essentially the same concert. It's them playing with an orchestra. It's really good. DVDs, well, let's see. Slightly different song order from the CD to DVD, but basically the same thing. Songs really sound good in this context. I would recommend it. This is on EAR or Ear Music. Bought it in Canada, so I don't know. They must be the same worldwide. And here's the booklet that came with it. A little write-up from Mick Jones on how the project came to be, and photos of all the band members. Really, really good. Put it on, let it play. Now, at the show that we were at, and I'm sure at most of the shows on this tour, they were selling this this limited edition thing called the Jukebox Heroes Tour. All this is a mix of live songs with the current band. A couple of them actually came from this, but most of them did not. It was also on Ear Music, and I bought this as profits from this CD are donated to the Shriners Hospitals for Children and to the Grammy Museum's initiative for supporting music education in our nation's high schools. So I thought it was for a good cause and picked it up. Be something cool to have. That same picture of the band is inside the 40 CD booklet. And I don't think there's much in here. So there you go. One more thing to show you that hasn't been out for too long. It's a concert that's been probably widely bootlegged over the years, but now we got a nice version of it. Foreigner played at the Rainbow Theatre in London in 1978. Now that's a smaller venue for what they would end up playing very soon, but they were just on their way up. You may remember a while ago, Queen put out Live at the Rainbow from '74. Same venue. This is Foreigner live at the Rainbow, '78. They were a young band at this point, still touring in support of their debut album, which had done great things for them. It was really successful. This is on Rhino Records and Eagle Rock Entertainment. 12 songs on this. They do every song on their first album, and they premiere 2 brand new songs that hadn't come out yet, called Hot Blooded and Double Vision, it's always cool to hear that when that happens, because a song, no matter how classic it is, at one time it was a brand new song. And they were very, very raw on this one, a lot of extended jams, especially on Star Rider and Head Knocker. If you're a fan of the first album, you won't be disappointed with this, because they do, like I said, every single song, because when the band starts out, they don't have as many albums to choose from, obviously. Lengthy write-up on here. This also came out on vinyl, and it also came out on DVD and Blu-ray. I mean, of course, Lou Gramm, sounds amazing on this, 27. The whole band, this is the original 6-man Foreigner. And because they had all those members, they were able to leave no stone unturned as far as the sonics. Everything is here. I mean, Ian McDonald even does a flute solo in Star Rider. Head Knocker, an extended bit, a guitar solo from Mick Jones, which is kind of cool, but not something that you'd expect. Great album. Highly recommended if you're a fan of classic Foreigner. Thank you for watching this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions.